Araba Kumsin will be among 4 journalists from the Multimedia Group to be honored at the 2021 West Africa Media Excellence Awards in Accra. Said Kwam Boateng, Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah, and investigative journalist Kwete Nate were among few candidates selected by the expert panel to have produced excellent work under the year of review. Media experts, high-level personalities, delegates from sub-regional bodies and civil society groups are expected to grace the occasion. We have some of them joining us this afternoon for a build-up to tomorrow's event. First, watch a bit of the work Araba produced at the peak of COVID-19 pandemic. Araba Kumsin will be joining me in the studio after this.
63 days, that's how long it's taken 17,704 people across the African continent to get infected with coronavirus.
The lives of thousands have been snuffed out as the ripples of an unprecedented pandemic, the COVID-19, the scale of which has never been witnessed before, reverberated across the globe, bringing robust economies to their knees and putting almost every sector, including the media, in distress. Now more than ever, the need for information has become pronounced. But how will Ghana's news media navigate these uncharted waters to live up to their mandate as they reel under the impact of this pandemic? The harsh impact of the coronavirus pandemic has been felt across board, and nowhere is it more felt than in the newspaper industry, which has already been struggling. With the onset of the coronavirus pandemic, their woes have worsened. I'm here today to speak to Managing Editor of the Daily Dispatch, Ben Efson, on how the pandemic has affected their business and how they are adopting innovative ways to stay alive.
The Dispatch has been around for about 22 years. And COVID was the first time that for 1 month the paper was off the stands because the vendors were just not, people were not going to work because the vendors sell by the roadside. So for 1 month, there was no newspaper on the stand.
Because of the lockdown?
There was a lockdown.
Executive editor of the Daily Guide newspaper, Fortune Alimi, has lived this experience too. As a manager of one of the country's popular newspapers, he has had to take some tough decisions after patronage of their paper dropped significantly following the announcement of the lockdown.
We took the decision not to come out at all. But after coming out, we need to also take a lot of measures in order to stay afloat. As I said, we need to cut costs. We need to cut down even on production. We need to cut down on the hours of production so that we save production costs, electricity, transportation, fueling. We need to cut down on a lot of these things.
Let's talk about the impact it's had on the business. You mentioned that people were not patronizing the newspapers, especially during the lockdown. Why is that?
Why is that? Because people were not out. 2, the vendors were not even there. Even if they were there, they were not ready to also sacrifice their lives because they are also dealing with the public, the handling of money. You realize that one of the means of transmission of this disease is handling of money. You see hearing traders also contracting the disease. Where did they get it from? Through money.
Now, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland.
Well, you can get the full documentary on YouTube, the documentary that won Araba Kumsin this award.
Aisha, just for the record, I haven't won it yet. I've just been nominated. I'm a finalist, so don't jinx it.
Of course. So yes, ahead of that, let me even congratulate you.
Thank you very much
for this milestone. I mean, we're so proud of you. Of course, Emmanuel Kwesi Deborah would also be joining us via Zoom. Mr. El Tov.
Aisha.
And also, from the other side is Kweku Krobia Asante. He's programs officer at the Media Foundation for West Africa. Let me start from the studio. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Krobia Asante.
It's a pleasure, Aisha.
Right. So let me start from the studio, and congratulations, it's in order, right? How do you feel about this whole thing? I know we'll pick the award. That's for tomorrow. We are coming. Look out for us.
Don't jinx it. So how do I feel about the award? I mean, when I was informed, I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting it, you know, but I was happy that, you know, our work had been recognized, because this was an important initiative that we embarked on. And this was the brainchild of Elvis Kwashi, our then managing news editor, who is now a general manager. So he thought that at the time, I mean, COVID was affecting a lot of people in a lot of ways. People could see other people and the way it was affecting them, and people didn't realize how it also affected the way we were doing our work. And he thought it would be interesting for us to explore that. So that's why we decided to do it.
And then, of course, definitely when the COVID was at its peak, journalists did not have that luxury of staying at home or working from home and all of that, because we had to go out and bring it to your doorstep for you to know what exactly was happening across the world. What really went into this piece that has brought you where we are now?
So, I mean, at the height of the COVID, like you said, I mean, we were at the forefront, like the nurses and the doctors, because we're going out there to gather information and give it to the people, because people were mostly, if you like, locked up at home because of, you know, the pandemic and the lockdown that came with it. People were dependent on the media for information about everything. And so we had to actually provide that media. So we had to go the extra mile. And in doing that, we also put our lives on the line, because, I mean, we could easily be infected as well. So we needed to adopt innovative and creative ways of gathering and assembling the data and all of that.
And that turned out well for us. Let me bring in Kwesi Deborah. Kwesi Deborah, your voice alone, I mean, keep people awake. Tell me about the piece that won you this, that will win you the award tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. All right, Sha. The piece is an online piece, and it's titled "Accident Scenes in Ghana." When camera shots are lethal, or when camera shots become lethal. So with this piece, what I try to explore is that there was this incident in November 2020 involving a tricycle and a truck. And in this incident, a woman that's a pregnant woman, her son, and also a driver of the tricycle lost their lives. And in this, when this happened, you know, when in the course of the accident and when the tricycle that developed sparks and stuff like that, there was only one driver who took his, you know, fire extinguisher to douse the flame, and the rest were standing. They were looking. You know, there were lots of bystanders, and they could even go to, you know, it happened near a filling station, and they could even go near they could even go to the place and, of course, take a fire extinguisher and douse the flame. But there's a case where they all looked at it. The burning of the pregnant woman, her son, and the driver.
Wow.
And most of them took their phones to record instead of going to help.
Wow.
So then after the incident, you know, when they died, I went back to the scene to interview the bystanders, why they decided to take their phones to record instead of, you know, as it were, go for these fire extinguishers to douse the flame. And so then I started collecting the primary data, those who witnessed the incident and took their phones. So first of all, I wanted to find out, so about 4 people I spoke with, and they brought out so many things. One had to do with what I call the evidence, where they thought that they need to have evidence of the situation. So whether you are suffering, they don't care. What they think is that they need to have evidence of the situation. And again, I explored other themes of self-identity and social media. And, you know, people would want to be the first to record the incident and show to others. And some also do think that since others are not around, they need to witness, they need to see the incident. And so they want to record instead of going to help. And so from there, I went to the sociology department of KNUST, to speak with the sociology, why people are into that. And that's why he brought out the issue of self-identity and social media, why people would want to, keep themselves busy on social media in order to have this identity. It's more of a drag, kind of, a new drag, kind of. And so from there also, I went to, I explored issues of monetization, because I noticed, I monitored that when the incident happened, you had many, social, YouTube channels and, Facebook channels also, broadcasting the issue. And I saw the numbers and why they did that, why, also wanted to find out. And, it brought out the issue of monetization, because people want to make money from social media. Yeah, for instance, YouTube, then the more the number of views you get, the more the views, the more money you get.
Okay.
And so, yes, so that's what I tried. And so issues of monetization, self-identity, yes, with regards to, why bystanders will look on, of course, when a person is in trouble, when they would take their phones to record.
Wow.
So that's a phone. So that's a story.
Let me congratulate you in advance for a good job done. But let me bring in Mr. Corbia. What should we expect tomorrow?
Well, thank you, Aisha. Tomorrow it's going to be an exciting event. We are having the conference and the awards. We're holding the conference in the morning from 9 to 2. Then we'll start the awards around 4:30 through to 7. And so we are hosting some great journalists, some of whom I am with on this set, and some others joining us from the West Africa region, from Nigeria, from Benin, Burkina Faso, and the other places going to join us. Also, we have some media experts, freedom of expression advocates, human rights advocates, editors coming to join us on the conference to discuss the phenomenon of misinformation, digital media regulation, and its impact on journalism in Africa, which is the theme for the conference. And then in the evening, we will host Araba, Kwesi Debra, Seth, and the other finalists who made it this year to see who wins the award.
Well, I'll be there with them, so you need to mention my name as well. I wanted to ask El Tov whether we'll get a bit of his soothing music. El Tov, do we get that at the event?
Unfortunately, Mr. Probia never invited me to perform.
Oh, so. Maybe they have to pay before the performance. But let me say congratulations to all of you. We'll be there in our numbers to support all of you. Araba Kumsin, we're so proud of all of you. And thank you for making us proud.
This award is for all of us, because
definitely,
everybody pitched in to help. So it's not just for me. I did the report, but really everybody pitched in, so it's for all of us.
Definitely. So you see us tomorrow, and we'll bring you the sights and sounds.